Okay, so up till now we have covered DNA replication and transcription, that is conversion of DNA to RNA. Now in this PPT we'll look at translation, which is protein synthesis, which is done from RNA to DNA. So basically translation is the pathway for protein synthesis, and it is based on the nucleotide sequence on the mRNA. Again, it is translated from 5' end to 3' end. So we'll just have a look at the different parts. So translation is the biosynthesis of protein or polypeptide in living cells. So there are sequences called as codons. So codons are a sequence of 3 nucleotide bases. So when these 3 come together, they code for a certain protein. So these are called as codons. So we all know there are 4 bases in RNA, that is your adenine, guanine, which are your purines, and the pyrimidine, that is cytosine and uracil. So a particular sequence, like for example, if you see this table, now this UUU or this UUC, this codes for phenylalanine. So when this sequence is present on the mRNA, they will lead to the synthesis of phenylalanine in the body. So these are called as codons because they code for a certain protein and for a certain amino acid in the body. Now there are certain codons which are called as stop codons. That is, at certain point the synthesis needs to be stopped. So UAA, UAG and UGA are also called as stop codons because they do not code for any amino acids and they terminate the process of translation. Now there are 61 codons for 20 amino acids which are found in the body. Also there are some codons called as initiating codons, that is, they start the process of synthesis of proteins, that is AUG and GUG. So these are called as initiation codons. So the characteristics of this genetic code are: first is universality, that is, in all the organisms the same sequence plays role in for a certain amino acid. So it doesn't differ from person to person. So it is same for all the human beings except, but it may differ in the cells. Like for example, AUA is the codon for methionine in mitochondria, whereas the same is for isoleucine in cytoplasm. So it differs cell wise but not human being wise. Specificity is another characteristic, that is, specific codon will synthesize only specific amino acid. Also it is non-overlapping. What is non-overlapping? That is, this 3, these, if it is given in a sequence, 3 are read at a time and degenerate. So the codon degenerate or redundant, since there are 61 codons available to code for 20 amino acids, so they get degenerated after that. Now these are the components which are required for translation. First is your amino acids, then transfer RNA, messenger RNA, amino acid tRNA synthetase, functionally competent ribosomes, protein factors, and your ATP and GTP as a source of energy. So here both are used as source of energy. Now mRNA, we have already seen the codons are present on the mRNA. Another component is tRNA, on which there is anticodon present. Anticodon is that the opposite basis, like if you have U, you will have G on the you will have a C on the anticodon side of the tRNA, and they are both anti-parallel in direction, so that is called as the anticodon region of the tRNA. So it contains 7 nucleotides and it recognizes the 3 letters with 3 nucleotides which are present on the codon of mRNA. So we have the Wobble hypothesis. So Wobble hypothesis was put forward by Crick it says that a single tRNA can recognize more than one codons. Because there are 7, it can recognize multiple codons. So this is the table which says which codon is responsible for which amino acid synthesis. So this is your tRNA. This is tRNA, whereas this is your mRNA. So here you have AUG as the codon, whereas the opposite bases are the anticodons. So this is your tRNA. So these are the steps in protein synthesis: initiation, elongation and termination. So this is the structure of your ribosome. It has one light subunit and a heavy subunit. Then there are certain sites on the ribosome which are called as A and P sites. We'll see that later on. So now we'll look at the components which are required in protein biosynthesis. So these are the stages. In short, requirement of the components: activation of amino acid, protein synthesis, chaperones and protein folding, and post-translational modifications. So these are the requirements or the components which are required. We have already seen the list, so we'll look at all in detail. So first is amino acids. Now 20 amino acids are there in the body, about which 10 are essential, that is, they need to be taken from diet. So until all the amino acids are present, protein synthesis will not take place. Next is ribosomes. So they are called as factories or centers for protein synthesis. So in eukaryotes, the ATS ribosomes are present, and there are 2 subunits. One is heavy and one is light, as we have already seen. And these have the sites called as A site and P site. So A site binds the amino acid acyl tRNA. So A, you can remember amino acid acyl tRNA, it directly occupies the A site, whereas the P site is occupied by the peptidyl tRNA. And there is also an E site which is called as exit site. So from there, the proteins will exit. So A site for amino acid tRNA, P site for peptidyl tRNA, and exit site from where the proteins will get removed. Next is messenger RNA. So the messenger RNA, as we have seen, contains the codons or codes for the specific amino acid. Then you have transfer RNA. So what is the role of transfer RNA? They transfer the amino acid to the growing peptide chain. So whatever amino acids are present, those will be transferred to the peptide chain which is synthesized on the tRNA, and there is also anticodon which we have seen. Next is energy sources. So we have already seen both ATP and GTP are used as energy sources, and they break to AMP and GMP to give us pyrophosphate energy which is required for protein synthesis. And last is the protein factors. So the process of translation, there are a number of protein factors which are required in the initiation, elongation and termination. So these are the various factors which are required. Now the next stage is activation of amino acids. So the amino acids are activated in 2 steps. So first is, we have seen amino acid tRNA synthetase. So this is the first enzyme which activates the amino acids. Then this amino acid gets attached to the enzyme by utilization of ATP to form the enzyme AMP and amino acid complex, which is transferred to the tRNA to form amino acyl tRNA. So this is in short the process of formation of amino acid tRNA. Amino acid, with the help of ATP, it gets attached to the enzyme amino acid tRNA, synthetase the enzyme, then AMP and amino acid, and it is transferred to the tRNA. Here it gets attached to form amino acyl tRNA, and the AMP and enzyme is again released, and only amino acid gets attached to the transfer RNA to give us amino acyl tRNA. Now the next step is protein synthesis. Now we'll look at in detail how the protein synthesis occurs. So the protein synthesis occurs on the ribosomes. So the mRNA is read from 5' to 3' direction, and the protein synthesis, it starts from the N terminal, that is your amino side, and ends to the C terminal, that is your carboxylic group. So first step, as we know, is the initiation of translation. So there are 4 steps in this. First is ribosomal dissociation, formation of 43S pre-initiation complex, formation of 48S initiation complex, and formation of 80S initiation complex. So these are the steps in translation, and about 10 initiation factors are required for the synthesis of proteins. So in eukaryotic cell, these are the steps which are involved. So you have the 80S ribosome. It gets dissociated to 40S ribosome and 60S ribosome. Now to this 40S ribosome unit, 2 initiation factors 3 and 1A gets attached, and then again methionine is getting attached to form this 43S pre-initiation complex. So I will look at the details. First is ribosomal dissociation. So 80S gets separated to 40S and 30S, and then initiation factor 3 and 1A was getting attached. So this was the first step. Then formation of 43S pre-initiation complex. So a ternary complex containing methionine tRNA, MET tRNA, this which is formed here, along with initiation factor 2, which is bound to GTP, it gets attached to this 40S unit. So here you can see this initiation factor 2 and MET tRNA is getting attached, leading to formation of 43S pre-initiation complex. Again, the presence of initiation factor 3 and 1A, so this stabilizes the ribosomal complex. Next step is formation of 48S initiation complex. So there are number of factors which are involved in the formation of this 48S pre-initiation complex. So as you can see, the factors which are there, 4A, 4E, 4G, 4B. So these are the initiation factors which are required. So there is a complex of initiation factor 4F in association with 4G, 4A and 4E. So this together is called as cap binding protein. It binds to the cap of mRNA. Now the mRNA has come into picture. You can see the mRNA is present. So all these factors get attached to the mRNA. Here a cap is formed of the 4F along with 4G, 4A and 4E. Then 4A and 4B bind to mRNA and reduce the complex structure. So now this mRNA which is formed here, the capped mRNA, it binds to the 43S pre-initiation complex, leading to 48S initiation complex. Now here the codons, initiation codons are recognized. And last step is formation of 80S. So again it combines to form the 80S complex. So here the 60S complex which was remaining, that again comes along with the A site and P site and combines with the 48S initiation complex, again leading to the formation of 80S initiation complex, which has the A site and the P site. And here 1A and 3, these initiation factors are removed, and and the 5 gets attached. Initiation complex 5 gets attached.